Hi guys, Kirk from Cabinetry Creations. In this video, we're going to talk about countertops, and we're going to walk through price, durability, maintenance, construction. Can you put hot stuff on it, which so many people ask? Will it scratch? Will it chip? What's the color ranges? So we're going to sort of break each one down. I'm going to briefly move through each category, and there's actually a ton of hard surfaces available for countertops. We're going to pick like the 6 or 7 most popular. Next, we have quartzite. So not to be confused with quartz. So quartzite is, again, made from the earth. It is extracted from the earth. It is not man-made. As far as cost, quartzite is generally speaking going to be more than, your mid-level quartz, or maybe going to be priced similar, but that low-end quartz is going to be less expensive than quartzite, or said differently, quartzite is going to be more expensive than quartz as a general rule. As far as durability, quartzite, again, granite, quartz, quartzite, very hard surface, gonna last forever. You could have it on your countertop for 50 years. It's gonna, I don't know if it'll look good, but man, it'll be very, very functional from that perspective. As far as cleaning and maintenance, easy to clean. You do have to do some maintenance. As far as construction, like I said, it is from the earth. So it is every single piece that you pull out, it is a unique piece to you. Now, they can look similar as you're sort of looking at the next pieces, but it is different. And when it's cut down and milled and finished, it's your own unique product. It's pretty cool to say, like, I'm the only one with this countertop. So this countertop right behind me is actually a quartzite. That's the only one that looks this way in the world, and it's got a little bit of red flecks in it. It's a unique stone that only we have. As far as a hot pan, like almost all hot surfaces or all solid surfaces, you can't just take hot pans and set them on there everywhere. It can scorch, it can etch. Will it chip and scratch? Yes to both, but not easily. Right? It's pretty resistant to chips. It's pretty resistant to scratches. And as far as style and colors, style's a little bit limited, but colors can have a pretty broad range. Again, it can get pretty expensive when you get into the more exotic, very unique looking products, but it does have a broader range of colors. All right, next we have marble. So marble is not cheap. That's a general rule about marble. It is relatively expensive, especially when you compare it to, a quartz, a granite at the lower end. Marble can be pretty expensive, to be quite honest. As far as durability, so this one's interesting, and so we're actually, as we're shooting this video, we have a project where we're doing a marble countertop in the kitchen, and you can, people don't love the reality of marble, which is marble can etch and stain pretty easily. So if you use marble in like a bathroom setting and you're washing your face, and the soap spills out onto the marble countertop, and you leave that soap on there for what is not a very long period of time, it will etch the marble. So that soap has materials in it that will leave stains in that marble, and they're forever stains. They're now part of it. Which, interestingly, and especially in kitchen settings, in a lot of countries, not necessarily the United States, people use marble countertops, and as they etch and age and chip, that's a sign of I used my kitchen and there's love in this kitchen and things happen in this kitchen. Now, not necessarily, I think, in our country, the approach to countertops, but in a lot of European countries, that's a countertop and they love it because it's been used and it has some love in it. So, but from a durability standpoint, marble not the most durable. Now, will it still be there 50 years from now? Yes. Will it look a little bit different? Absolutely. Cleaning and maintenance. Need to use special cleaners, and the maintenance is pretty regular. It is a product that you're going to maintain a ton. Construction. Where is it made, or how is it made? It is pulled from the earth. So every single piece of marble is a unique piece, and I get it. Marble is beautiful. Almost every person who looks at marble is like, that's very pretty, right? Which is often why it's actually pretty expensive. Can you put a hot pan on it? No, you cannot. So when you think about heat, it is not heat friendly. Will it scratch or chip? It will scratch. It's not the easiest thing to scratch, but it will chip. And so one of the things with marble, you can't really finish the edges, so you have to miter the edges. So you have to cut the edges into 45s, which makes them a little bit sharp, and it's not super sharp, but they polish it down. A lot of times they'll put a coating over it, but marble does chip. It is something that does chip, and you can attempt to fix it. I've seen some decent results, some not so decent results. And then broad colors and styles, no, marble, as far as I am aware, and there certainly can be exceptions to all of these rules, but it is sort of a black tone or a white tone, and those are sort of the two main colors. You can get some of the veining that has a little bit of variation, but black and white are going to be your base colors. All right, so soapstone. So soapstone is actually one of my favorite countertop surfaces, and it's unique. It's got some uniqueness, but we actually in our showroom, if you're in our showroom, we have a product in one of our vignettes that is actually a granite, but it looks just like a soapstone. So you get the benefits of granite with the look of soapstone, and if you're ever in our showroom, look for it. But soapstone, as a general rule, is pretty expensive. It is not a cheap product. Now, it's not, certainly you can get crazy expensive, but generally speaking, it's at a pretty tight range, but it's going to be at the higher end of the countertop pricing. As far as durability, it's relatively durable. It's going to be there a long time. It's going to sustain 50 years if that's what you want, as long as, right, when we think about cleaning and maintenance, as long as you maintain it. So there is a maintenance schedule to soapstone. Not the easiest countertop to own. No, if you maintain it, it's great, but you do have to maintain it. Cleaning it is relatively straightforward. It is a natural product. So it is, when it's extracted from the earth, again, it's a one of. So it is your own unique piece. No one else will have it. Hot pan. So interestingly, and I don't want to overstate how well this does with hot pans, because I'm certainly not an expert, but soapstone deals with hot pans very, very well. I don't want to give you bad advice, but from what I have heard, yes, you can take a hot pan, set it right on soapstone, and soapstone doesn't even know it's there. So certainly from a cooking perspective, I know you can get into temperatures that are bad for soapstone, but as far as normal cooking goes, soapstone is very, very friendly to hot pans. Will it scratch or chip? Yes, it will do both. It is not, it's easy to do a scratch for sure. Chipping is a little bit less likely, but it can happen. And then as far as broad color and style range, again, it's a pretty limited scope. You don't have blues, you don't have reds, you don't have, it's a natural product, and it's got a pretty tight color range, mainly black and white, or mainly black, I should say. So, okay, so next is one that people ask about quite a bit. It's butcher block. And we understand the desire for butcher block, and butcher block, as far as price, is not nearly as cheap as people think. So people have this thought that the butcher block you see in IKEA is essentially the same butcher block we as a kitchen and bath would install on your island. And it is not. So it is not, so butcher block, the stuff we use is not the stuff off of the shelf from Lowe's. So it's not crazy expensive. It certainly can be. You can get into some of these higher end woods, and it's very, very expensive. But butcher block's relatively attainable. It is, but it's not cheap. People have this thing, oh, it's cheap. It's not cheap, I promise. Certainly not the stuff we use. As far as durability, this is where butcher block sort of lacks. Butcher block generally isn't going to last 50 years. It's not generally going to last 30 years. It's a natural product. It's from the earth, and it expands, it contracts, and we'll get into some of the other things. Cleaning and maintenance, it requires maintenance. It's a product that you gotta regularly keep up to date. As far as, it comes from the earth. It's a natural product. It expands, it contracts, it's live wood, it's real wood. I don't know if it's live wood. It's not live wood. It is wood though. So it expands, it contracts, you gotta seal it, you gotta take care of it. Can you put a hot pan on it? No, you will burn it. Can you scratch it? Yes, it is very easily scratched. It's a soft surface. Can you chip it? No, yes, you can chip it, but it is not necessarily susceptible to chipping the same way a very hard marble is. And then as far as broad color and style range, not really. Right? So you think your normal wood tones, you are sort of confined to those wood tones. And I will tell you a little bonus thing outside of the norm of this video. We're great with butcher block on an island because you can take it off, swap it out later on. As far as perimeters, so if you think sort of back there, that we do not encourage people to use butcher block back there. Not a great spot for butcher block. The island is awesome. It gives it a unique look, a special look, but it's easily removed when it is worn out. And last but not least, and maybe last but not least, laminate countertop. So think Formica, Wilson Art, and and so this is essentially a piece of particle board with a laminate glued onto it. This is a pretty cheap product. It's actually probably, if you're doing it in mass, or not mass, but you're doing like a full kitchen, it's probably going to be the cheapest per square foot. It is totally a man-made product, and it is, from a durability standpoint, not going to last forever. This is a lot of places are going to get 10 good years, and then you're going to start to see the decay. And if it's very susceptible to water damage. So when you think about it being in a kitchen where there's a ton of water, it's very susceptible to water damage. It's very susceptible. Well, let's do cleaning and maintenance first. Easy to clean and maintain. There is no maintain. Well, that's not true. When the edge banding starts to come off, you got to put some glue on there, push it back on, and it'll fall off again. But all in all, it's pretty easy to clean. It's pretty easy to maintain. It is a man-made product. It has some realities to it that is, it chips and breaks, and can you put a hot pan on it? No. You will scorch it. You will put a black mark on it. Most of them. Now if it's black, maybe you don't see it, but yes, you will scorch the heck out of it if you put hot pans on it. Like I just said, it scratches easily, it chips easily. It is not a long-term, it's not a 30-year countertop unless you're okay with it looking pretty ragged, because it breaks down. Now, one of the benefits, besides the cost, is, man, there's a limitless array of colors and styles and marbles. You can get laminate countertops that are actually aluminum, right? So it gives you like an aluminum countertop look. But there's just a broad array, hundreds of different styles and colors and availability. So, if you're thinking hey man, I'm really on a budget, laminate is still an option. I will tell you this, it is hard to find somebody to even make laminate countertops at this point. That's how rare they're done. But I've made multiple laminate countertops. It's pretty easy, but there are people who do it, but not like there was 20 years ago. All right, so that concludes a long-winded video about countertops. I hope it was helpful. As I stated sort of early on in the video, I'm talking in a ton of generalities, so there are certainly exceptions to almost everything I said, but all in all, that's a pretty decent synopsis of cabinetry, countertops that are available today, that are used today. There's one that I left out, and I'm sorry I didn't do porcelain, because that is actually used, but we don't recommend it, so I won't even talk about it. Anyhow, I hope it was helpful. If you guys have any questions about cabinetry, remodeling, countertops, anything, reach out to us. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.